Hello everyone, welcome back to another Doctor Who collection update, showing you all the lovely bits of Doctor Who merchandise I've picked up in October 2022. Of course, there's Big Finish. Probably the main bulk of this collection update is Big Finish, but we do have other bits of Doctor Who merchandise to show, such as a magazine, a Big Chief figure, and of course we do have a vinyl as well. Ooh, it's very exciting. So we've got a nice sort of spread of Doctor Who merchandise to show within this collection update. So if you like the sound of seeing Doctor Who merch, then please do consider hitting that subscribe button if you're new around here, because there's plenty of Doctor Who merch related videos on the channel. So without further ado, let's dive in to some Doctor Who merch goodness. Start this collection update with something a little bit different, and that is a one-of-a-kind item, and it is this a nice little canvas print of me and Mel from our time in Liverpool when we went to the Doctor Who Worlds of Wonder exhibition, which is one of my favourite photos. But yeah, so that's going to be popping up in videos. So that was a nice little anniversary gift, so I thought I'd throw that in there because it's technically Doctor Who because it's got the TARDIS, so yeah, very cool. One of my favourite items from this month is a Doctor Who Chronicles, and it is of 1973. Now I've only picked up two of these. I've picked up the 2007 one, and now I've picked up the 1973 one. Now obviously I'm going to get all the Third Doctor ones, because I've been sort of picky with what ones I get, but I'm very tempted to get the David Tennant ones and sort of the Pertwee ones, and maybe just the odd year what really appeals to me. So these are great. I think they're priced about 10 quid, and they are really good value for money because it's basically a time capsule of what happened in that year for Doctor Who, and this is a big year because this is the 10th anniversary of Doctor Who, so this is a real great thing. So it sort of gives you a breakdown of what was happening month by month in terms of Doctor Who, with merch, the launch of the Target books, the comics. It is really insightful. Obviously breaks down the stories what feature within this season of Doctor Who. It's lovely, and talks about the costume. So talks about the Third Doctor's costume, which I am going to lap up because, he's my favourite Doctor. So it's all really cool, special effects. It is wonderful. Talks about the sort of comics, the TV action stuff. So this is really something quite beautiful and very special. And it talks about where the actors were, sort of who took part in Doctor Who, of the main crew of the companions and the Doctors. A little bit of behind the scenes of Frontier in Space for location work, the sort of merchandise, which I'm a big fan of Doctor Who merch, hence this collection update. So it's lovely to have a sort of a breakdown of what was being released that year in terms of Doctor Who merchandise for Target books, Planet for Daleks, a bit about the Doctor Who annual from 1974, Radio Times, and obviously John Pertwee's one of those Doctors who featured quite heavily in the Radio Times, so it's nice to have a bit of a feature on that. Katie Manning, obviously, because she left in the show. A bit more about the Radio Times. Now, this is one of my prized possessions in my collection, the Radio Times 10th anniversary special, and it talks about the sort of Daleks you could build within that sort of special magazine. So yeah, it's really lovely. If you want to know more about 1973 Doctor Who, then this is probably a nice little go-to, and I love it. It's a great little read, learning new facts about my favourite era. The next item is a vinyl, and it is the Doctor Who original television soundtrack for series 1 and 2 on vinyl, double LP. So this is a really lovely bit of artwork. This is the first time I'm owning these soundtracks physically, because I normally just listen to it on Spotify, so it's great to have this on vinyl, obviously with Russell and David coming back. It seems like a nice little sort of full circle moment, because this is a lovely thing to have in the collection. Of course, we've got Murray Gold sort of notes on the actual bits of music there, very nostalgic. Sort of gives me sort of the Doctor Who sticker book look, seeing all these images. But yeah, it's really lovely to have that. Great soundtrack. Really nice little nostalgic piece. Because this is the repressed version what Silver Scream did, which is lovely. Not much you can say about it because it's a nice bit of soundtrack, and it's just really quite nostalgic having it, because this is when I was getting into Doctor Who. The next item is the Big Chief 4th Doctor figure by Zavi, which was first announced on my birthday in 2021. I ordered it and it's taken a year to arrive, and here he is, the 4th Doctor. I mainly got it just to complete my sort of 70s era Big Chief Doctor lineup of the 3rd Doctor, because the 1970s is my favourite era of Doctor Who, so it felt right having the 3rd and 4th Doctor next to each other on display. Now, as a figure, I'm going to be honest, I've come to realise that sort of the Big Chief stuff isn't really for me. I think the 3rd Doctor is probably the best Big Chief figure I have out of the two. I think that this figure has a few little problems, and yeah, I will do a review on him, but I have to say that he's not the greatest, but I do like him. I do like him. Overall, I think that he's just a bit of a figure what sort of leaves me a little bit lukewarm on it compared to the 3rd Doctor, which is just absolutely stellar. I know that it's one of the later figures Big Chief have done, and the 4th Doctor is one of the early figures, but they have revised it slightly compared to the original figure. But yeah, it's one of those figures where you have to sort of display it right for it to come alive. If you get it in the wrong pose, it can easily throw it off, and I think that this pose definitely suits that figure and sort of displays the figure at its best, really. I've done a full unboxing on this Big Chief 4th Doctor, so you can check out a more closer look at the figure within that unboxing video. The next bit of Doctor Who merchandise is the summer wave of B&M figures containing the 10th Doctor triple pack, the 8th Doctor triple pack, the Planet of the Daleks set, and the Death to the Dalek set. Now, I've done a video overviewing the whole summer wave of B&M figures, so I'll leave a link in the description below to that video, so you can check that out, my full thoughts on it. Yeah, this wave, it's just a bit of a weird one. It just feels like a bit of a regression to what the B&M line normally is, because I think we've been spoiled over the past couple of years with having companions, new monsters. I feel like this wave, especially the 10th Doctor set, feels like it belongs in a bygone era of like 2016, when the B&M sets were sort of starting out in their infancy, because this year, you know, we've been spoiled. We've had the K1 robot and 4th Doctor, which is a lovely set, the Warriors of the Deep Silurians, so you had such big expectations of what we're going to be getting, and sadly it just kind of left a lot of people thinking, oh, is that it? But I will say that some of the sets are a lot better in hand. I think the 8th Doctor set's really sort of grown on me. I think they're nice little tweaks on the existing figures, like the Big Finish 8th Doctor, lovely, a lot better paint apps compared to, you know, the original. Just look at that, you can definitely see that that is more Paul McGann than whatever that figure is. I mean, we were happy with it back in 2019, but this is, you know, the new king of Big Finish McGann figures. We have the lovely clear Dalek, which I think is probably the best figure of the wave for me. I think that it's just a real nice novelty figure, and it's a figure we've all wanted and what people wanted from the Planet of the Daleks set. Originally, I'm a big fan of the gunmetal grey drone, so I was very happy with that Planet set, but to have the anti-light wave reflectant Dalek is absolutely stunning, and it just really makes for a cool little display piece. But yeah, the Night of the Dr. McGann I'm going to put next to my 13th Doctor and have sort of the Power of the Doctor display, because, you know, it's a little variant, and it just fleshes out the Jodie shelf a lot more. Oh, steady on McGann. And then we have the lovely TV movie McGann, which I think's been tweaked and just looks very comic book-esque. I really do like this McGann figure. I think that he really does pop very well. I really do like it. And then we have the lovely Death to the Dalek set, which is 90% perfect. If it didn't have the sort of factory error of only having sort of half of the sort of slats being, well, the sort of midsection being painted black, and if this had a black gun, then this would be a real standout set, because I really do love the Death to the Daleks colour livery. 10th Doctor set, this is okay. I like this figure because, you know, it can get away without the pinstripes. That's all fine, that's all good. You know, it's not the worst offender of the set, but the worst offender is this. What are you? You know, it's got a giraffe neck, it needed some retooling. It's a variant what we don't really need. But yeah, I have to say that the blue suit 10th Doctor looks a lot better in hand, whereas this, yeah, the less said about this the better. So that is the B&M Summer Wave. If you want to see a more closer look comparing the original figures, then you can check out that video. So that is the B&M Summer Wave of figures. Big Finish time, yes, of course, the main bulk of every collection update I do. So I've decided to dabble into some Torchwood releases because there was some Torchwood sales, but I did pick up one of the most recent releases of Torchwood, which was Torchwood Soho, The Unbegotten by James Goss. Now, I started listening to this on Halloween because I thought it looks a very spooky story. Now, this is my first time listening to the Torchwood Soho range. I do have the first box set Parasite, but, you know, Luke recommended it me and I, you know, kind of just put it on the shelf and thought I'll get around to it eventually. But when I saw this announced, I was like, you know what, this sounds like my cup of tea, because it's basically Torchwood does Quatermass. So that is the bio there, and it is basically 6 stories told over half an hour adventures, but you know, some of the stories are about 40 minutes, so it just breaks that format. And I have to say that this is one of my favourite box sets of the year. I really did enjoy this one. I thought this was a lot of fun. Great atmosphere, nice bits of horror, very gory in parts, but yeah, very, very cool stuff. Now, continuing the Torchwood theme, I did pick up a few of the monthly stories what were on sale. I did pick up The Great Sontaran War by James Goss. I mean, if that cover doesn't sell the story, then I don't know what will. I've not listened to this yet. I've heard good things about it because this was released to celebrate, I think, 15 years of Torchwood. Yeah, so I look forward to giving that a go because it looks like a lot of fun, and I really do love James Goss's writing. And because of the Centenary special, I was really in the mood for more Ace, so I picked up The Red List again by James Goss. I think all the stories I've picked up from Torchwood are James Goss because he's basically the face of Torchwood on Big Finish. With Mr. Colchester, I love Mr. Colchester in the sort of ongoing Torchwood stuff that Big Finish have done, so I'd be very interested to listen to how those two get on. But yeah, very excited to give that a listen at some point. I may do a video dedicated to the Ace Torchwood stuff because I did pick up the other story, which is Death in Venice, but of course I'm going to listen to the Red List first and then listen to Death in Venice because I feel like this is going to be a nice sort of set of 2 stories, so I'll hopefully in the future do a double review on the Ace Torchwood adventure. And this has got quite a nice sort of creepy cover, but yeah, very nice. Really like the sort of the masquerade look on that sort of story, and there is a sort of a masquerade theme in sort of October, which of course is Geronimo. This features another story set in Venice. This is the new Big Finish series featuring the 11th Doctor, and the last time Jacob Dudman will be voicing the 11th Doctor on Big Finish. This is a 13-part series and something I'm incredibly excited about because this is set between the Snowmen and the Bells of St. John, so we have the new companion Valerie Lockwood. And I have to say that this was a brilliant box set. The first story just feels like a great series opener. It has the nice sort of sinister 11th Doctor when he's sort of like you don't want to mess with him, but it has a lovely goofy charm to it and it feels very in keeping to the era. Valerie Lockwood's a great companion. It just feels like a great celebration of that era, and it's nice that Big Finish are finally tapping into sort of that sort of rich area to mine of Doctor Who, what hasn't really been touched in expanded media, so it'd be great to have a full series dedicated, and because it's a full series I'm here for it because it's got a big series arc. There's some interesting little plot threads, what I guess will be answered as the series goes on, because there's reference to another Time Lord. We don't know what that Time Lord is, so is there another Time Lord behind this whole big scheme? Yeah, it's a real fun box set and I highly recommend it because it just has the real great feeling of the 11th Doctor era, and it's just a joy to have more 11th Doctor stories. And of course we have Master, Nemesis Express Volume 2, with the sort of a sequel to the Time Monster with the Chronivores back. Yeah, I've heard mixed things about this box set. I listened to the first box set when it came out. I enjoyed it. I wish it sort of played more with the 90s sort of aesthetic of it all, and I'm hearing sort of mixed reviews about this box set. I've not listened to it myself, so I'm going to go in with an open mind, but I've heard some sinister things about what it does with the Master's character with Bruce, but yeah, I've not actually listened to it yet. A lot of people are saying that this is more sort of Vienna than it is the Master, or Master. But yeah, I've not listened to it, so I can't properly judge it. But yeah, good cover art. I will get around to listening to it eventually. But yeah, there's just a lot of Big Finish to dive into. One of the most recent releases is Kaleidoscope, part of the Third Doctor Adventures, the last of the Third Doctor relaunch box sets. This is a season 11 6-part story, and the first to include the Whomobile in a full cast audio adventure. And there is a nice little fun moment of the Whomobile introduced in the story. But yeah, I've not finished listening to this story yet. But yeah, very nice to have the Third Doctor's Snowmobile. That's the spine. I'm glad that that's on the spine, because it really does pop on the shelf. And there we have the bio of the story there. And yeah, it's very interesting to actually see the season 11 intro on a Big Finish. I think this is the first time that's featured on a Big Finish cover. So yeah, very nice. It's nice that Big Finish are finally exploring more of the Third Doctor era and exploring with the sort of common sort of length of the Pertwee era, which is 6-parters. So yeah, of course I will be doing a full review on Kaleidoscope, because it's the Third Doctor, and you know, this channel is dedicated to the Third Doctor. So that is all the Big Finish I've picked up in October. That concludes my Doctor Who collection update for October 2022. So we've got a nice bit of variety of Doctor Who merchandise, from Big Finish, figures, nice little bit of a picture there, and Big Chief figure. So if you've enjoyed this collection update, then please do leave a like, because it really does help the channel out, and let me know if you picked up any cool snazzy Doctor Who merchandise in October. Very interested to see what you guys are picking up, or if you've listened to any of the Big Finish stories that I featured within this, then I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on it. So yes, thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you next time for more Doctor related content coming up in the near future. So thank you very much everybody, and goodbye.